So Irish crochet technique is a technique where you make different type of elements, motifs for that matter. You see I have flowers, I have leaf shapes, I have circles, I have spiral pieces, flowers, circles, anything. I even have crosses in this one. Anything that you can make and different elements and stitching them together. It is a technique, not a specific pattern. So you're using a pattern to line out your pieces for the shape and the size. If and in the future I will have some like lace alongs, if that makes sense, like crochet alongs. So I'll do a specific set of motifs and place them in the same space in the same ways that I am doing, just so you can get like a sense of exactly how to do it. But if not, it's the same as using a regular like dress pattern, coat pattern, sweater pattern. You can make a simple pattern from tracing out a sweater, a cardigan, or anything of the sort. And it goes from the back side to 2 panels, to 2 sides, and the 2 sleeves. If you prefer a hood or no hood, it depends, even a collar. So what I'm working on right now is a side panel to a full jacket. So I'm also going to have a hood and sleeves as well. So I'm just going to show you guys the technique on how to lace the patterns. So the things that you will need to start off with, I am using foam board puzzle pieces, and it comes in a group of 9 pieces. You can use cardboard, you can use a plain piece of foam, just a plain piece of foam or whatever that you can stick pins into. But I just find it convenient for me to use these foam squares. And if you like, I will tag the names and where I got it from down below. My push pins, these are my new push pins that I just bought. Came with 1,000 in there, blues, pinks, purples. But it, you know, I'm specific about my colors. I like for a lot of things of mine to be the same color. My favorite colors are pink and blue. So if I'm getting anything, it's gonna be in pink and blue, if those are the options. Anyway, so push pins that are pretty long. I do have very short ones that are about half size. That kind of works, but it doesn't necessarily stay in sometimes when I'm stitching together. So it is better to use the longer pins as well. You can also use T-pins also. And these are T-pins. Sorry if you can see. T-pins and ball push pins. The T-pins are pretty tricky because your thread gets stuck in between. And then the balls are way easier to just stick in diagonally this way, and it'll hold your piece down nice and sturdy. And okay, so we have push pins, we have a foam board, or like I said, you can use cardboard from a box, anything that you can push your pin needles in. It doesn't have to specifically be that. I also would suggest a set of pliers for pulling out your push pins. If you don't wear nails like I do, it's pretty easy to pull out with my nails. Because they're sturdy, but the pliers work very well. It doesn't put too much strain on your fingers when you're pulling them out too much, so it just makes it a little easier. I would also suggest to get a magnet pin. I just bought this. You know, I've been doing this for a little while, so I'm like, whatever is more convenient for me to make it go faster, then yeah. So as I'm pulling my push pins out, I can just go ahead and collect them all by using my little magnet pen and sticking them all right in place. So a set of pliers, a magnet pin. Just if this is something you're going to do full time and all the time, I would definitely suggest like these little, you know, little tricks and whatnot. So I just keep all my things pretty organized inside my tiny little drawer. I got this from Family Dollar for about $6, and cute little drawers. I just found it like it would be convenient for me to keep my things in place. I have also, you could use any type of thread that you like, but mine is nice and thick. If you want to use the same yarn that you're using to crochet your pieces with, that is just fine also. If it's as thick as this is, then you can also split it in half so that, you know, you can even get it inside of your needle. Also, speaking of needles, you do need a good needle that's not too pointy at the end. It's nice and round, because if it's too pointy, it can split through your yarn or through your thread or through your pieces. So it will make your life pretty difficult. So I'm using an aluminum needle that has a curve at the top. If you can tell, it comes a little curve, so it's much easier to bring through your pieces, so you can just grab it right on up. And I also have some a few other ones that I use also. Some are straight, but they're all just fine to use, and make sure it has a wide enough opening there so that your thread can go through. But either one is pretty fine. It's really comfortable with what you're comfortable with, really what you're comfortable working with. So I have those, and what else do we need? I really think that's it. Like I said, you could use your own pattern that you can cut out, and I had patterns already in, you know, in the cut, so I just have been using the same one. I grabbed some paperback paper just recently also. Since it is a huge tube, I'll just show you guys the smaller version that I bought from Home Depot, and this was only $4, and it comes with a lot. You see how much it is? And like I said, I have a huge one that's much bigger. That's enough to do any size that you need to do. So like I said, this is just a smaller version, and the bigger one was $12, so it's not bad at all. Went on Amazon and was searching, and I seen, you know, some for $16, but it was a little bit. So that's perfectly fine to use as pattern paper. You know, make as many as you need. And I think that's it. Also, I also use these combs also, you know, rather than the push pins also, or and with, it doesn't really matter. Most of the time I'll just use these when I'm reaching the end of my project, for when I'm pulling my push pins out, and I just want to keep the piece in place so that it's much easier when I'm finished to just pull it right out instead of pulling a bunch of smaller ones, you know, out. That makes sense. But those are just the, you know, the beginning steps of what you need. And then I'm just going to show you, you know, a little example of where I left off at. So I'm just going to finish up for you guys if you want to continue watching. If you want to see me do specific pieces, please leave a comment, leave a note, you know. Maybe I'll go ahead and do a specific one for you guys, just so I can show you, you know, a little purse, or a smaller jacket, a sleeve, a hat. But okay, I'm gonna start from here. Oh, and also, like I said, when I'm threading I'm so used to saying yarn and thread, I don't know, but when I'm yarning my thread, we don't need to tie it. We're just going to leave that remaining. Just pull it through the hole and just leave a little bit remaining so that it doesn't keep coming off your needle. If you like, you can use a small loose knot, just to, you know, keep it in place a bit. But you don't necessarily need to tie a knot, because it will really keep getting stuck in between pieces, in between the holes and things like that. So since I'm going to start from this piece over here and work my way over here, I'm just gonna go right into this, and I'm gonna tie a knot. So that stays in place. So just go through it again and pull this through the hole and pull it. And that'll give you a nice tight knot. So I'm gonna do another one as well. You don't have to do two, but just to make sure that my pieces are nice and secured, it doesn't come out, I'm gonna do another one. And we work in a zigzag manner here, okay? This is the technique that we use. I am actually going to pull this all the way through so that I can start from here, so I don't have to go back and close up all that space that I have. So I'm going to come all the way over here. But when we attach the back piece, we're going to use just the edge of it to sew everything together. So we'll be working in that same pattern. So I'm going to start over here and just bring it through. I'm not going to start the actual technique yet, because when the pieces are close together, you don't necessarily need that in between. So I'm just going to go into the top and the side of my piece. I can show you better on a brighter color piece, but the black is kind of hard to see, so I need another push pin here. I don't have enough weighing it down. So I'll just bring it on through just like this. Just a regular stitch, regular sewing stitch, back and forth for now, because that's not going to be seen. That's going to be completely in the back. So it is starting to give me some space here. So I will start my zigzag technique now. So I'm just gonna bring it all the way over here. And then go under that. And make sure everything is going into the same direction, because if your needle goes through the middle, you will be creating a knot instead of going straight through. So I'm gonna bring it right here. Because it's pinned down, you kind of can't tell, but you do need to go into that space so you're not having your pieces just flapping around. So come back under and bring it through. And I'm gonna come back this way, and just to fill in the space right here, I'm gonna go all the way down here. Bring it under and pull it through. You can tell, you can see my zigzag forming. So since I am done with filling in this little space right here, I'm just gonna bring this needle through this flower and work my way over here. You can go either way, so I'm gonna work my way over here and then just come on up through here, and then I'm gonna restart it and just continue to go this way.